Okay, folks, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, fishing accomplices, good morning and welcome back to Fishin. So it is September 9th, 2024, and we are on the water. Yeah, it's going to be a day. I'm not quite sure what today has in store for me. It's this whole weekend. I got the 2 days, Saturday, Sunday. Both days didn't look terribly great conditions-wise, but I put my eggs in the basket for Sunday just because it looked drier at the very least, though yesterday, I guess, wasn't nearly as bad as they were predicting it would be. Regardless, we are on the South Shore, New York City waters, and we're going to try and make something happen. What exactly, I'm not quite sure yet. I've got a little bit of everything for anything. Got some crabs if we want to try and do porgies. Got some gulp and jigs if we want to do fluke. We even got some metal stuff if, you know, some ocean-based stuff, let's just say, arrives, which I'm not holding my breath for, but it's certainly a possibility this time. The real issue, I'd be certain I can make something happen today, but the issue is it's going to be windy today. It's already windy, but it's supposed to only get more windy. So I chose this spot because it involved me not going super far for the launch, and generally this spot is not nearly as crazy on a weekend as some of the other options I had. So it was a bit of a gamble. We're going to see if it pays off, but I'm hoping between any of these things we'll have a good day and hopefully get some fishing accomplished. Okay, so I started this day off mainly looking for fluke or anything I could jig off the bottom with gulp, and it was very difficult because the wind and the tide were moving together, and it was, you know, on occasion gusting, I think, close to 15 knots. I chose this particular area in addition to what I said in the first part of the clip, not just because I figured it was less travel time, but also I figured the sound would have been near impossible to fish the way I wanted to, so I decided to make this the option. And while I did try for fluke, and I tried all over, it just wasn't really happening. I did get a little bit of action, but nothing all that special.
There it is, the culprit, destroying our gulp. Our shads too, from the looks of it. Alright, something a little different. Juvenile weak fish. Better than that, but back down. Small fish. Weak fish. Alright, it's a little bigger than the first one, I think. Pretty fish, they're shiny. We're off to a weak start today. Thank you, I'll be here a week.
In addition to bottom fishing, I was also keeping my eyes peeled for any kind of bird activity. And while I did see some not too far away, it just was not the ideal conditions to be chasing them against the wind, against the tide. So after a little bit more time jigging like this, I decided to give it one last go, trying to find some porgies. I did have some crabs with me, and there was one spot I wanted to check out. So after a little while of, you know, continuing to jig the shads, I decided to switch things up, and this is where the day kind of got into where it needed to be a worthwhile session.
Look at that porgy. Jeez. Sure, that's a monster. Whew, good God. Massive. Almost 15 and a half. Keep a few. All right.
right, one porgy down. That didn't take too long. Get another. That was instant. Massive porgy. Jeez. Look at that thing. Oh my God. Massive. Thing is huge. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's like 16 inches at least. At least. 15, 16. That one's almost 16. Get him right on there. Another massive porgy. That thing just hit it like one shot. Grabbed it the second it hit the ground. These are just giant porgies. Stupid big porgy. Three's the meal size. Good God. Look at that. Well, I guess the fluke wasn't going to happen, but these porgies are certainly making up for it. See if we can get that giant, you know, over 16-inch porgy. That's the goal. But I'm happy with this too. Another jumbo. So this one's not quite as jumbo. If he's not 15, he's going back. That's the level of porgy sanity we're going through right now. If they're not 15, they're going back. So I got plenty of meat at home. I think he's probably like 13, 14. Just about almost 14. Get bigger. 14-inch porgy. Yeah, we don't need a ton of meat, so we're not keeping these fish unless they're 15 inches. Get some really nice fillets off those ones. After this drop, I'm going to put the fish back in the bag. Okay, so just a word on how I'm fishing for these porgies. I'm fishing with shore crabs, and I'm using bottom sweeper jigs. I'm fishing with 3/4 ounce to start, and eventually I downsized to a 1/2 ounce. I'm fishing them on a 25-pound test leader, and yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Just waiting for those fish to pick up the jig. That's why I like the lighter jig, and they are very fired up. Having to set my own size limit because otherwise I'd have literal piles of porgies inside the boat. One bigger. Okay, a little intermission for the porgy action because it is certainly hot. Let's cool this heat with a cold drink. We have Good Pop, and while that is the name of the brand, this is, I think, in the seltzer family. It does have a little bit of sugar in it, but not much. 30 calories a can, smaller can, lemon lime. Hopefully a good time. Oh, that's quite nice. Just enough flavor, not too much, and by flavor I mean, you know, sweetness. I really enjoy this. It's like a lemon lime seltzer, which is that little extra acid. Very refreshing. Small can, so not too much of a commitment if you know you don't want to drink too much. And hopefully this video isn't too much for you, because we're gonna hopefully get back into some porgies, it's true, and whatever else we can find. Okay, Porgy O'Clock is alive and well. Be a porgy, come on. Yeah, big porgy. Big porgy. Jeez.
Look at that there. Oh, good God. These are just like mutant scum here. I don't even know if that makes 15, but he's just so fat. 14 and change. Nothing wrong with them, but like I said, we want 15. We're gonna be firm with this today. That's fine, he can go. He can go. Well, another 14-incher. I like to just cut the top of the crab off, just to get the juices moving in the water. $13, 14 and a half, 13 and a half, let's say, with this one. Nice. But we can do better. Well, I knew I collected all those short crabs yesterday for a reason, and we are going through it right now. Yeah, it's all legal. It's the smallest one yet. It's easily still at least 11. Slabs, son. Slabs. Just one after another. $14. That's a better one. That one goes with a stringer. That's the kind we're holding out for. Okay, certainly working with the 3/4 ounce jig, but I'm gonna try with the 1/2 ounce just because there's quite a few fish that have been like kind of shy about picking up the jig, so I want to see if this makes any kind of difference for me. Let's try again. 1/2 ounce jig. I don't think that was a real jump, but still, that was pretty cool. You're nice, but we don't need you. Your fillets are only good. We want great fillets. Back you go. Good fish. Oh my God, look at that porgy. What? That's probably the biggest of the day so far. Look at that thing. That's over 16. That's at least 16. What? Oh my gosh. Slab. Slab scup. Look at that. Yeah, that's 16 and a half. Whew. Gosh.
Yeah, so after getting that fish, I continued to keep fishing, same area, and I caught a lot more porgies, like many more. Pretty much all of them were keepers. Like, I honestly think I hit well over a limit of porgies, probably like 30 or 40 keeper size ones. But I ended up only keeping 9 just because I have no need for that much fish right now. But that being said, it was a really good time. I got some other stuff too, but nothing that really needs to be online. Additionally, as you can see, the camera started to fog up, so that's the main reason why I'm just going to cut it with the fishing footage. And at this point, I'm just going to jump into the cook portion of this. This recipe in particular is a good one. I've used it for Fluke, but I never actually tried it for porgies, so I was really curious how it would turn out. So hope you enjoy this part. It's a really tasty recipe. Alright guys, welcome back. It's a few days later and I figured we'd pick up with another catch and cook, so we're back in the kitchen. We're going to take those porgies and make one of my favorite, or one of my, kind of go-to meals out of it. We are going to start things off. We have some potatoes right here in a cast iron pan. These are red potatoes. They're on the softer side, and we're going to mix them with some marinade. I actually have 2 cast irons right now because we're going to make a little bit extra for some guests, but regardless, let me just run through some of the other things we have for this. We have this marinade. I change this every time depending on how much fish, but at a base level, what we're looking at is 1 shallot cut pretty fine, at least 1/2 cup of extra virgin olive oil. That's my oven, 425. 1/4 cup of lime juice, though by all means go for more if you need it. I'd say like at least a half to at least a full lime juiced, if not 2. We need like basically 1 orange juiced, 2 minced cloves of garlic, and about a 1/4 cup of cilantro. But again, I find there can't be any such thing as too much for this. And I'll show you what I do with this, but first step is we're going to take these potatoes and we're going to season them with some salt and pepper. Yeah, this is about 6 potatoes, give or take, of varying sizes. Cutting them nice and thin. They're fanned out on the cast iron. Little salt, probably not the healthiest thing, but it sure does taste good. So we got that going. And we have our marinade here. It smells delicious. It smells like basically guacamole minus the avocados. Big shout out to my wife for making this before I got home from work. But yeah, we're just going to only put about half of this on. I always find there's no such thing as too much of the marinade, but you do have to save some, which we'll come back to. So about half of it, and we're going to try and make it so it's evenly covering the potatoes. Obviously I'll put a little more on this one.
We're gonna set that aside, which we'll come back to. And we're just going to spread this out. Never mind some of the background noise. But yeah, want those potatoes pretty evenly, you know, covered by the marinade. And, you know, we got a decent layer of this. Want everything being touched by some kind of liquid. It's about good. And all we're gonna do now is open up our oven and put those potatoes in there until they are cooked through, which again can depend on the amount of potatoes. Probably not overdo it, but I'd rather them be cooked a little bit too much than not enough. We're gonna start with that in there for about 30 minutes, and we'll take a look and see if they're where we want them by then. All right, see y'all in 30 minutes. Okay, so it's been about 30 minutes, so let's see how these potatoes look. Smell delicious. Yeah, I think those are just about ready. They're simmering. Yeah, those are cooked through. So we're gonna take the potatoes out. Got our big batch and our small batch. Now the next step is we incorporate the fish, so let's get that going. Okay, so it's about 8 porgy fillets, which we'll divvy out between them. So we're just gonna throw those on top like so. Got a few rogue scales. I can just never get all of them off when I do fillets, but whatever, they're easy enough to eat around. Some nice fillets off these porgies though, I tell you what. Like, I used to not really keep porgies often, but when you get them this size, I mean, they are some nice, you know, meaty fish. Just get these scales off as I'm encountering them. Yeah, we're just gonna try and cover this. Like, I don't want to use the term casserole, but sure, like it's its own like porgy potato casserole. You know, meat and potatoes. Meat and potatoes, but fish instead of, you know, regular meat. I don't know what I'm saying. Don't listen to me. What the hell am I even talking about? Yeah, I'll throw one chunky one on that one. It's more than I really need, but as I like to always say, I'd rather have too much than not enough, so leftovers, it's fine. I know it looks kind of strange, but you gotta trust me on this one, folks. So we still have the oven going at 425 degrees. I think that's about good. Covered the potatoes that have been marinating and cooking. And just like potatoes, we're gonna cover that with some salt. Salt first on both. Then we're gonna slap on some pepper. And just like the potatoes, just try and cover all the fish. Don't have as much now, but this is the other half. You know, half goes in the potatoes, half goes on the fish. Do this one. And I would always recommend, you know, make more of the marinade than you think you need, because I've never encountered having too much of it. You might think you have too much, but I've never felt like, you know, this is over marinated. I don't even know if such a thing exists, and as long as it's not soup, it's probably good. So yeah, just jankily covering all this. We want all that fish covered to add to, you know, the potato goodness. And I think we're ready to go back in. So we're gonna throw this in for at least 10 minutes. Porgies usually do cook through pretty quickly. Never mind that. And yeah, 10 minutes and let's see what we can do. Yeah, so as much as I like this recipe, this is one that you do have to make some adjustments with on the fly depending on, you know, what you're working with. If you have a thicker fish, they're probably going to have to be in the oven for maybe a little bit longer. Obviously, you don't want to overdo it, but again, you have to adjust accordingly. Similarly, if you want more potatoes, those potatoes might have to stay in the oven for a little bit longer. And if you have less so. But either way, you do what works best for you, and it should be something good, as you will soon see. Okay, so yeah, I think we're good to go here. This is looking really good. At least to me it is, but I'm also smelling it. You know, smell what's cooking. Yeah, so I've never done this with porgies before. I've done it with fluke, I've done it with tog, I think I've done it with sea bass. but not scup. When I found this recipe, I found it on a news website, a popular one that I'm not going to mention because I don't want to drag them into this, you know, whatever I'm up to. But this recipe that I saw was originally for salmon, and I think I did do it with salmon once, but since then I just figured I could probably do this with regular fish. So I'm sure it'd be slamming with salmon, but that's porgy. So here goes. Oh, that's nice. I'm gonna get a piece now with the potato in it. The potato, you know, the fish is good, but the potato is what makes it like a meal. So, got a piece of potato there, bigger than I really need, but I get the full effect. Fish, potato. Can't beat that. So much good flavor. Marinade really makes this. It just comes together so nicely. So, yeah, I 100% recommend trying this out. I mean, it doesn't need to be on porgy, fluke, sea bass, tog, any whitefish, porgy, even stuff you get at the supermarket would work. So definitely give this a try. You will not be disappointed if you like this kind of thing. And I hope you like this video. So thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. As always, goodbye from fishing.